The 5 mistakes that ruin CAT prep. A while ago we done some non-negotiable things you must do in order to help you crack this exam. Things you should not do, should look to avoid. You're not the only 5 mistakes, there are lots of mistakes. These are the ones that are relevant, that we can connect to, identify with. And also quite a few of them I've made. Living in your comfort zone, solving only favorite topics, avoiding weaker areas for later. Later is this mythical time that never comes. And so, sometimes I run from my comfort zone, and sometimes I run from my comfort zone so much that my wife often says that, why do you want life to be so difficult? Why don't you just do the steady things and do it? Sometimes I do that, but sometimes I live in my comfort zones, and then things don't go well, and I double down into it unwittingly. I really like creating content, I really like putting new questions, I really like putting together coursework. So 3 months in a row, if our business is down, I'll be building a new product. Instead of selling more, instead of marketing more, instead of being out there more, I'll go in. And don't do that. Don't do that. Make sure that you don't cozy up in a corner of your CAT prep that already works for you. Make yourself uncomfortable. Go towards the topic that are not your favorite zones. Don't push stuff for later. Taking busy work for progress. Again, some of us do this. My son does this. When he gets beaten up in an exam, he'll prepare. And so he's able to bounce and prepare and throw more effort into it. But he has to acquire the pause. And you need the best sports people, the people who, the best managers, the best people in families. They have a pause. They don't react with a hammer. They react with nuance. They respond to situations. And they don't say, look, I'll prepare more. So this is not working, I'll do 10 more things. I made a mistake in geometry, I'll do 100 more geometry questions. And so it might not have been a knowledge gap in geometry, but the time pressure that comes from fatigue that contributed to that error. And so you must pause and reflect and recognize patterns in errors, track your improvements, see where your gains are coming from. And sometimes we look for gains in our toughest territory. Incremental marks that can be done by doing another 20 questions of quant could be low. Find your wins somewhere else. And so pause and reflect. Very important. Losing the mental game and overreacting to bad marks, either by beating yourself up or by challenging yourself or by flagellating yourself, beating yourself up in 2 things. ये तो मेरे से होगा ही नहीं, I don't know, ये तो गया है, और पिछले 2 हफ्ते से 3 महीने से I had time, I blew it. I'm feeling very guilty about the whole thing. You should figure out ways to make inferences, push aside guilt. No, none of us is perfect, and the guys who pretend to be perfect are very often very delusional. So embrace some of the faults you have, not embrace as much as acknowledge and accept, not embrace. But then move on and say, look, ठीक है, हो जाएगा. I'll figure out ways problem solving. Don't lose time and energy to guilt, to looking back in the past, or working yourself to death. People feel bad and then they try to compensate with effort. Not that hard work is bad, but being silly and burning yourself out is criminal. So pause, reflect, take stock, accept some of the mistakes you have made, realign your pants, pick yourself up, have a go again. Chasing 100% syllabus completion instead of depth in high weight topics. Very important. This is something that I was very happy when I saw in the list, because it's something that I'm a big bore about. And so pick and choose your battles. Being at a level 6 out of 10 in terms of comfort and confidence and ability to solve tougher questions in 22 topics is worse than being a 9 out of 10 in 11 topics and not knowing 5 topics completely. So this exam is tough, getting tougher. You'll hardly find anything on a platter, on a template. There isn't something where you just plug in a formula and get an answer. Even if there is, out of 22 questions, there'll be 2 or 3. But you're not going to meaningfully shift the needle, especially if you're ambitious. So acquire a thoroughness in your understanding and don't go for the low-hanging fruit. Not worth it. Not taking mocks under realistic conditions, and this is very important. Again, a standard thing, but sometimes we overlook it. We freewheel a mock. We do a mock and then we check the phone and then come back to the mock. We want to see the score and come back to the mock. You go out, drink water, but then you're just walking out for 3 minutes. doing all kinds of neck things and then coming back. You have to figure out a way to say, look, I'm going to have exam conditions as close to possible as the real one. And very, very, very important to do plenty of mocks in real settings as much as possible. Right? So the size of the paper, the pencil, the board, space available in the table, all of that. Right? So you can't say I'll take a big notebook. You can't work with a large A4 notebook. That doesn't work. Shrink it. The closer you go to the exam, the more you have to mimic exam conditions. So keep that in mind. These are pretty important 5 things. Obviously not an exhaustive list of things that you should avoid, but keep these in mind. Best wishes. Okay.